with all the big calls on all the big races. Welcome back to another edition of What a Shout, brought to you by our sponsors Bet365, the Racing Post flagship feature weekend show. Dave Orton, utterly thrilled to be back in the seat with you on a Thursday night. There we go, train strikes and all that sort of stuff. No jump racing once again. Second weekend success. Nothing we could do about it, guys, is there? It's just been one of these insane weather years. We get on with it. It means that we're going to have a bottleneck over Christmas of all these horses wanting to run. The great game is still alive. Bear with us. We will be giving you all the tips from the best races on Polytrack. Please, Lord, that's on this weekend. Right then. Like and subscribe. Don't forget to do that. You can do that by thumbs upping on YouTube, whether you're watching on Facebook as well. Get involved. Anything. Twitter, hashtag, or What a Shout. And don't forget to share this all over the place. Pat Cooney joins me. There's no strange trikes can keep you down, dear boy.
No, drove down. And yes, I'm at Oxford Dogs Friday night, where we sponsor a competition and 10 races there. So hopefully the weather will ease off somewhat and make it a much more pleasant evening. But yes, it's been frustrating, isn't it? I wondered what it would be like to have a non-racing week. And I don't know how normal people cope. I was absolutely bored.
I mean, there has been some racing, man.
There has, and I do like my all-weather, but yeah, you just think, oh, where's the good racing? It's not on today. What do normal people do? I couldn't cope with it, really.
Well, that's why we've managed to get him down, I assume. And unlike Graeme Rodway, who joins us on the show, I'm thrilled to say, in Great Dunmow, that's Chelmsford City area. Is it going to be on at the weekend, G?
Chelmsford, yeah, it'll be on, won't it? I'm sure everyone can't wait for a bit of Chelmsford action. I mean, I love a bit of Chelmsford. Spend quite a few Thursday nights, only like 15, 20 minutes down the road. But it is cold. You know, if you go to Chelmsford, you do have to wrap up warm and put your big jumper and your big coat on, because it is really, really, really cold in Chelmsford. And it is really, really cold in Chelmsford now. I can tell you that. It's cold in my house. Yeah. I can't wait for it. It's it's going to be one of the highlights. Chelmsford actually going to be on ITV, Dave.
You do actually look a bit like Jack Frost as well, don't you? Let's face it, you know, like a great big icicle. And let's face it, some of your opinions also leave us cold as well. Right, let's see what we've got coming up for you on the show then. We will be going down to Gloucester. Grade 1 winning trainer Ben Pauling. Always a pleasure and a bit of fun to talk to Ben. He's got a massive battalion, beaten his career best already for the season. It's only upwards there. Great interview. Don't miss it. We'll be giving you 4 races. 3 from Lingfield, 1 from Chelmsford. They're going to be on right before the all-important weekend winners. Well, time to raise some festive cheer and bring in our interviewee onto this week's What a Shout. Let's go down to Gloucester, shall we? Grade 1 winning trainer Ben Pauling joins us. Look at that. Look, they told me to look straight into the camera. This is a new split we have here. You're trialling this, Ben. This is 2023 on the horizon. We're going up in the world. Are you?
Hopefully. My technology is equally as bad as everyone else's, and so I'm relieved to be actually talking to you now.
You've pivoted from saying the Racing Post there, didn't you? Quite right. Ben, great to have you on. 50 winners up for the season thus far. You must be happy with that. A double at Southwell when we actually did still race on turf.
Yeah, no, thrilled. I mean, it's a huge effort by everyone here. The team, you know, the owners, we're thrilled to pieces. It's our previous best. It's our best by 6 already. And we dreamt that we could get to 50 by Christmas, and it's happened. So, and with all this sort of unfriendly weather we're getting at the moment, good job we did just in time at Sutherland.
Of course, you might not get a chance now, of course, to get this Christmas right on the target. That's great, isn't it? Let's just talk about some of these young horses that you've got coming through. Of course, we all remember Barter's Hill, the likes of Kildesart that are taking you to the big Saturday. 3 Cheltenham Festival wins as well. Some nice young bumper horses coming through there, Ben. Doubtless you've still got some in the stable ready to come and strut their stuff. Samazol in particular at Southwell look like he might cause a few ripples later on.
Yeah, I hope so. He's a horse we've always liked an awful lot, even for a 3-year-old. He wasn't cheap, but he was always a very athletic, big individual. And we were less than delighted with the way things went at Ascot. They went an absolute crawl, horse in behind, clattered into him, which set him alight, and he then pulled for about a mile. And then they finished in a heat, but he sort of done all his work, pulling too hard early doors and finished 7th. So it was nice for a trainer, when we have faith in a horse, it's nice to see them go and do it on the track, and great to see him do it at Southwell.
Of course, he was supposed to run at Warwick after Ascot, wasn't he? That was off. How is it at the moment out there, Ben? I mean, what's it like on the gallops? Of course, you've moved situations recently. You got the people shouting "for" at you as you're going past the gallops and all that sort of thing with the golf course next door. How difficult is it for yards at the moment? You know, especially one of your size with this. Well, I mean, you must be blanketed in snow where you are, I assume.
Yeah, I mean, we have actually. I think, by the sounds of things, we've had it worse than anyone else. Really, the Cotswolds. We had about a good 4 inches there, whenever it was, 4 or 5 days ago, and of course it's been nothing but hard frosts ever since. So the snow hasn't gone anywhere, but thankfully we've managed to keep both the round gallop and the hill gallop going, and we've been able to keep going as normal. Really, we haven't worked any horses in the cold weather, but they've been cantering away and doing their bit.
So hopefully we're looking at a bit of a thaw next week, are we? Of course, this weekend, no runners on. But you've got loads of entries. Other horses that viewers will be asking me to talk about, of course, your darling. We all thought he was going to be a world beater when he won that Newbury bumper. But, of course, it took the switch to fences, especially first time out this season, to really set him alight. Question is, did he win by a bit too far?
Well, he was a very good first time out in his bumper, and then flat to deceive. His novice hurdle season, he had a bit of a wind issue we had to correct. And then last year, first time over fences, he bolted up, and then didn't have a terrible season, but never really showed the same sort of form again. And we're a big fan of his. We know he's got a big engine. He goes very well. But it was, I must admit, I thought that he was very good at Ascot. The way he travelled supremely well. He was quick in and out of his fences, no matter whether he was long or short. And he won shade cosily, I suppose. But he's gone up to 133 or whatever he was now, I'm not sure. And so we're looking forward to getting him out on the 27th back at Kempton.
The first reference of Christmas racing, though. I mean, 133, that's that sort of magic rating, isn't it? You know, is he the next Kildesart then? Are we expected to go to that sort of level?
I really hope so. There's no two ways about it. If he continues the way he's come out of the race, and the way if we can keep him in this sort of form going into Kempton, if he doesn't perform, then he's just going to be one of those horses which is particularly good first time out. I'm very hopeful that with the move to the new yard, a lot of our horses seem to be consistently holding their form much better than they used to. And I think down to the fact, we've just got everything designed perfectly for them. And the health of the yard is very good. So if he can maintain that form, then I hope he can go up through the ranks and become a good horse, yeah.
Here, it does seem to be going swimmingly well. Bring in Pat Cooney from our sponsors, Bet365, who is with us. You've got some horses you'd like, one in particular, and some very famous colours, the Megson colours, aren't they?
Yes, Ben, I would like to ask you about Bangers and Cash, who won so well at Exeter over 3 miles on good to soft, offer 116. What sort of plans would you have for that one? Would you be interested in maybe the Midlands Grand National, or is that 2-step up in grade? And then switching codes to Ben Pauling, the flat race trainer, Polly Pott. I was interested to see that you're now her trainer. She won the Mayhill at Doncaster and 4th in the Fillies Mile. What plans would you have for her going forward?
So we'll start with Bangers. He's a lovely old-fashioned, 3-mile chasing type who we liked as a youngster, but he was always going to take time. And he won nice enough at Taunton last season. Then the ground sort of went against him. It all happened a bit quick. And so we brought him back this year, and it was great to see him do that at Exeter, because he just slightly needed his run at Wetherby. But he's got a possibility. I've got a few actually possibles. I don't think I'll run many more than 1 or 2 in the National at Market Raisin, whatever that's called, the Lincolnshire National. So he'll probably go there on Boxing Day, and then possibly a tilt at the Midlands National might be up his sleeve. I didn't think Welsh Nationals were a good idea this year. I just don't think he's quite ready there mentally as much as anything. He's sort of, I think he'll become a nice staying chaser, and I think he'll see a trip very, very well. But I just am keen to mind him a little bit. So we'll see how he gets on the national and then take it from there. He's not desperately slow either. So we've got a few options. He could be, if he didn't go to the Lincolnshire National, maybe something like the Mandarin might suit him at Ely.
Okay, and Polly Pot, the excellent 2-year-old juvenile?
Yeah, so I don't know if people are bored of this story, but obviously huge supporters of ours, Andrew, Jane, Megson, and the Megson family, Lily and Jazz as well. When Harry basically rang them and said he wasn't going to be training anymore, Andrew gave me a call and said, Benny, would you like to train our flat horses as well as our jumpers? And I said, yeah, I've always wanted to get a few flat horses, and I sort of was waiting till we'd moved here before I took that step. And he said, well, I've got a really nice colt who just needs to be castrated and a bit of time, and I'm sure he'll be a lovely 3-year-old. And we've got a little filly called Polly Pot who's won her last 2, a maiden in the nursery. And we're not sure how good she is, but she's won her last 2, and see where she gets to. I said I'd be thrilled to train them both. Thank you very much. And that Thursday night she won the second race, her second nursery at Salisbury, and then she went to the May Hill and won that, and then she's been 4th in the Fillies Mile. So, I mean, profile of the horse has changed no end, considering from the time I said I'd take them on. But I'm absolutely thrilled to be training her, and the other few flat horses we're going to be training next season. And we're very much working back. I personally think that she might be an Oaks filly. I think she'll stay a mile form. Her R's generally train on and stay well. So we'll look towards the Oaks, but we're planning on using the Guineas as a trial. So chuck her in the Guineas and see where we find ourselves. I think to be competitive in a Guinea, it would have to be soft ground. It was soft up at Doncaster when she won the May Hill. But a very, very exciting opportunity for us. Quite ironic that our first proper flat horses are going to include a classic filly. But why not? Let's give it our best shot. We've made a good plan for her. I've had a long chat with Andrew and Jane and Harry Dunlop. Harry's going to be very much on side. He's going to be, an ear for me to talk to, and he's going to remain involved to a level, and we're going to see how we get on, and really look forward to it.
Wow, things you never think you'll hear on What a Shout.
Indeed.
What on earth are they going to make of Ben and all that lot on the first weekend of June? All right, there we go. Great stuff then. Let's bring in Graeme Rodway here. This morning, we're filming on a Thursday. Ben's old boss, Nicky Henderson, just casually strolled onto an interview on Sky Sports Racing and dropped the bomb that the Long Walk Hurdle was potentially going to be run at Kempton on Boxing Day. That has now been verified. I'm thrilled to say. I think at Sky they were like, can we get this out or not? It has been verified. G-Rod, let's bring you in on this. There was a lot of talk recently, especially from our own Bill Barber, saying maybe the BHA is stepping finally towards the right direction by actually not reintroducing these races, because it means we might have some more competitive racing. The International, for example, gone. Everything else from last weekend. What did you make of that?
Yeah, I saw that, Dave. It's quite interesting, wasn't it? I know Emma Lavelle was saying that there was not any opportunities for Paisley Park after this race. She was saying, once the Long Walk goes by, the Stayers programme is very light, and the next opportunity is really the Cleve at Cheltenham. So maybe they've taken heed of that warning and, gone and put it at Kempton. Although I can't believe that Emma would be too happy about running the race at Kempton, because surely Paisley Park needs a really stiff track with an uphill finish, and you would have thought that around Kempton he might well find Champ and some of the others a bit too quick for him. But I still think Paisley Park's a really good horse when he gets his conditions, which probably is, as I say, a stiff track and maybe a little bit of cut in the ground.
You often see that Newbury form reversed at Ascot. Ben, your old governor then, just casually taking the race planning by a bull by the horns and dealing with it himself. And it's fair to say, Nicky likes to find his own races, doesn't he? He's basically just reintroduced one for Champ.
Yeah, no, it's great. I mean, I haven't got a horse in that bracket at the moment, but the races available are few and far between. I mean, Ascot is a stiff. At least they're both right-handed, but Ascot's a stiff track, and And Kempton, as we know, is one of our quickest tracks, but at least the race is being staged, and I think it is great to save these, Grade 1 races if possible.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? It'll be interesting to see what you think out there, viewers, as well, because Bill Barber's piece in The Week, our industry editor, of course, he said, look, this might actually ensure that we get some more competitors. I think we all agree there's too many graded races, don't we, over jumps? Yeah. This looked like quite a good move, so the international isn't done. Could it impact on the Cleve as well, which is, of course, on New Year's Day? Of course, we've got to hope all this is on, so maybe it is a good thing, I don't know.
Yeah, but the long walk hurdle, if you're saying you can have Champ, Paisley Park, Miranda, that was the gamble if there's soft ground, and people like to see these good horses, don't they? What a Champ and Paisley Park, they're 10-year-olds now. The punters love these horses, and it's good for the public to see them run. And I'm sure the turnover on the race is going to be pretty high anyway. It's certainly going to be a lot higher than the Constitution Hill Stakes earlier on in the card, I would imagine.
Yes, of course. Right, that's a Christmas cracker then for us. Now, if you're feeling festive, Ben, perhaps a present for our What a Shout viewers, please. Come on, where's the 51st winner coming from?
Oh, golly. Well, we've got a few in at Ludlow, possibly Lumpton, Lingfield. What do I like? There's a horse I particularly like called Hercules Morse. It's another one of the Megson horses, and I bought him for the Megsons previous to Blue Brazil being uncovered as the great sire he is and will forever be. I think if I could have a yard full of Blue Brazils, I would. And he was bought for a snip at 35,000 or something, or whatever he was as a store. Great big 17-hand monster that we didn't think was necessarily a bump horse. So we ran him first time out there at Worcester not long ago. I think Master Shuey maybe won the race. I'm not sure. But the long and short of it was a Worcester novice hurdle, and our lad was green as grass early doors. Sort of got left a little bit through the middle of the race and finished with a wet sail, finished third. And if he comes on from that run, then I think he could go quite close in a novice hurdle there at Lingfield.
All right, okay, not long until that Lingfield million, is it? Ben, all right, look, we've taken enough of your time already. Thanks for coming back onto What a Shout. It's always a pleasure talking to you, one of the characters of the game. To you, your much better half, Sophie, and the team, Merry Christmas and all the best for 2023.
No worries, all the best.
Well, that was a thrill, wasn't it, Ben Pauling? But let's actually now look towards these races. I don't think we've got any classic contenders on Saturday like Polly Pot, of course. But are you ready, man? Because the protocol is, as our regular viewers will know, I tee up the races, you tee up the markets, and then G2 tees up the losers.
That's not what it said on the label when I heard first.
But they've moved all the race times around, haven't they? So they've played with your head as well, haven't they?
Yeah, but the good thing was, I think you could safely do your sums on Monday afternoon when all the 5-day decks came out for Saturday going, Newcastle, where we were supposed to sponsor,
yes.
That was going to be $1 million.
Yeah.
Ascot and Haydock were always odds against. So it was pretty much written that you should start studying Lingfield and Chelmsford in preparation for the weekend. So there's been a few race switches around and so forth, but the gist of the runners are still there. So
you're not one of these, are you? Like myself and like G-Rod as well, who sort of sniffs at the all-weather still, are you?
Oh no, not at all. I kept my head down for it. I suppose as a punter, I'd probably do better at Kempton. I just seem to find the horses that suit Kempton better.
Probably the fairest track, I would imagine.
Yeah, and
you had to put your hat on it.
But Wolverhampton's not too far away from me, and sometimes when you look at the course, you think you wonder how horses can possibly win from some of the draws that they get given. It's a bit sort of like a 50p piece, really, a bit like Henlow dogs. So you can draw lines through horses as soon as you get the declarations and the draws through, so you can make it pay.
So the 1:15 is our first race then. It's a sprint handicap. And very quick to the mark with your traders. The boys in the gallery and the guy that builds the graphics here, his name is Dave Lowe. Somehow he's managing to get these shows over the line. He was like, oh, I'm not going to have any prices. And then we looked half an hour later, you're all up already. Get this action in.
You want them, you get them. So
quite right. What's going to go off Fav here then?
Well, I think it's joint favourites at the moment are Yamu of Dean Ivories with Kieran Fallon aboard, and Betherton Boy of Richard Hughes with George Rook aboard. He's drawn in stall 10 in a 5 furlong sprint. Not ideal, is it? My eye is drawn to Amor de Mavita, Archie Watson, Hector Crouch aboard. Yeah. Back in business last time out, but it was his first all-weather win. And it's been a bit in the wilderness, really, the horse. But, you know, you suddenly get a sprinter, bang, it's come into form. Not badly handicapped. He's been racing off at the 70s before, so now he's in the high 60s here. I just like it in a race where some of these horses aren't really going anywhere. This one suddenly, bang, returned back to form. So Amor de ma Vita for me.
Before we go to G-Rod, it's almost like you've been looking at my notes. But yeah, this was an eye-catcher when it last ran here. It just got going a bit too late. It's fair to say the jockey wasn't that hard on when beaten. Went to Wolverhampton last time. If it can race a bit more handy, that's the key here at Lingfield.
Yes.
You go back in your members club and have a look at that replay of Amor de Vita's run when staying on too late over this track and trip. It's all about that hill at Lingfield, isn't it? And horses, you know, for those of you that aren't so familiar with regular all-weather racing, the courses are different, very different. Riders' tracks, they call them, at the jockeys. You know, a jockey's track. Some can ride Lingfield better than Wolverhampton, for example. Should all be all right at Kempton, shouldn't they, as you say? But even Chelmsford was very different. The inside of these courses didn't seem to be much good at Southwell as well. What I love about this sphere and this time of year, they regularly turn up these horses. It's a little bit like dog racing, which you're akin to me.
Yes.
They get their chance to take on, and sometimes the eye catchers are plenty. You know, during the summer, turf preferences, all this sort of stuff. To Peter to Polytrack doesn't always work out either. The draw you've mentioned, wide, 10 of 10 around Lingfield over 5. No chance, you know. But yet you're talking about what, around about 3's the field, is it?
100 to 30 in the field at the moment, and tough to call what will go off favourite. I think maybe Yamu, because it's got a better draw. But you talk about horses for courses and what pace angles. G-Rod actually did quite a good article, and it was on the members thing about what type of where you need to be in running. So he might have the clues to these all-weather.
I knew he had a fan somewhere.
Well,
I knew it. And it turns out you could have come and met him in the office today. But oh no, you stayed at home. Don't tell me you're going for stall 10 of 10.
No, I'm not going for stall 10 of 10, no. Although I don't think it's a massive disadvantage, Dave. I think you're talking nonsense.
Yeah, okay, again, why did we let him do this members club thing? Because if you don't know about it, you're going to tell me they can win up the far rail properly as well, aren't you?
Well, they can't win up the far rail, no. Yeah, there's the number one mistake, isn't it? Lingfield is going up the far rail. I can't believe it when jockeys do that. I actually shout at the screen and throw stuff if someone goes up the far rail. I'm like, what are you doing? But anyway, yeah, no, I like Yamu. He's actually drawn in stall 2, so that's quite a nice draw. He's a bit of a Chelmsford regular. I've seen him over there a few times, and he ran really well from a good draw there last time. He finished second. He's sort of one of those horses who's going down in the weights, but he's slowly improving his racing post ratings, like sneaking up on the bookmakers. I'm going to come and strike soon. I think this might be his race, Yamu.
Yeah, he's got the back class, hasn't he? So we're looking at something that's hit form and yet might still be a career best lurking, whereas Yamu has got it. But we're 11 to 2. He's 3 to 1. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, and like we've gone the same route, haven't we? A good draw and a good bit of recent form.
All right, that's the first at Lingfield done. Let's pop to G's native Chelmsford. Then the 240 comes up. What do we got here?
Well, this is a handicap, but we have an odds-on favourite, Lord Paramount, and it's sort of a written rule, really, that if Roger Varian has a progressive, unexposed 3-year-old, you have to make it as short as you can, really. And you do look at the horse. He's only rated 70, so he's no world beater. But is he probably going to be better than 70 at some point in his career? Yes, almost certainly. And really, Dave, I think he's as priced that he is because of all the promise of his runs. Not earth-shattering form by any means, but it's the best recent form out there. There's some of these horses, they look out of sorts. If you go back far enough in some of their lines of form and you're a bit lenient, say, oh, well, you forget that one, that one, there's a good run, and that one, there's a good run. But it's all ifs and buts with them. That's why they're going to be the prices they are. Lord Paramount, again, recent form, probable improver, a Roger Varian handicapper of a marker 70. Good luck taking him on, really. But the bookmakers, you know, we've seen him, we get it, we're going to put him in short. He's no bargain.
Who's in the saddle?
Cameron Noble.
Yeah, okay, that's interesting. This guy has not got your sexiest Rog profile, is it? It's for the Deers, though, and it's Roger Varian in a race where lots of others have maybe got something to prove. So he's the progressive one, G-Rod. 6 to 4 on he's opened up with Bet365. I think that price stinks.
You think it stinks? Why?
I think it stinks. I think that you've got to have a leap of faith. I think they put him in on the right mark. I don't think he's one of the world beaters there. Anything with a bit of back class, and there are horses in this which will come and do him. Don't get me wrong. I'm now seeing where you're going to come at this with your crystal ball. Don't tell me you've done all the studying. You've looked at the price, you looked at the stable, you looked at the colours, and you've gone, this wins, right?
Yeah, I think it just wins, don't it, Dave? Why overcomplicate the problem? It's a very simple problem, isn't it? This is a lightly raced Roger Varian trained runner that is racing off a marker 70. Now, 9 times out of 10, when you see a lightly raced horse like this, if they've got a marker 70, they won't really have an RPR much higher than sort of 71. They tend to be underestimated before they go into handicaps by our handicappers, I find. Yet this one's already achieved the 77, so we already think that it's £7 ahead of its mark. And of course, it's only had 4 runs, Dave, so it's got open to all sorts of improvement. Now, I didn't have to repeat the mark of 77 last time out. It was long odds on to win that race at Wolverhampton, but it did it well enough. And I just think the favourite will win. Boring, I know, Dave, but I think the favourite will just win.
I knew you were going to hang your hat on that 77 RPR that he's not produced in 2 runs since. Well, I'm going to take him on. I'm pressing the lay. G's pressing the play. Got No Dollars is the one for me. Loves Chelmsford. His win came over 6, but he's won over 7 at Kempton. This is a horse that looked like he'd absolutely gone at the game, and he came back to life at that aforementioned track last time out. He loves it here. Luke Catton can take his time. There's at what price have we opened up with him?
He's around about 8 to 1, and of course, there are other angles you can come at. You can bet without the favourite with us, of course.
Hang on, no, this gets beat.
Oh, okay. But what you have got, of course, is Stuart Williams training. He's obviously always a good trainer, but they're in a real bit of form as well, this team.
Yeah, Stuart had a tricky year, let's put it that way, and they're absolutely firing, aren't they? Got No Dollars for me. Back to Lingfield we go, 3 o'clock. It's a fillies handicap. It's a Winter Oaks trial, no less. And this time, I think we've got a solid jolly.
Well, we're 2 to 1 each of 2 at the moment. So.
Oh, okay.
Right, and the 2 each of 2 are the Queen of Ipanema, the Win Machine on a 6-timer, and Caesarina of William Haggis. Now, then it's 6 to 1 bar. So I hope it's one of those 2.
It is one of those 2. I think that the Zarina will see off the Queen of Ipanema. I've spent some time in Ipanema,
Oh, yes.
I did. I travelled around Brazil a little bit in my early days. I spent some time in Ipanema where the great Antonio Carlos Jobim, very sozzled, wrote the words to the girl from Ipanema on the wall of a bar.
Okay.
And I sat there. I used to sit there looking at the mountains of Ipanema. But this is no Queen of Ipanema. This was an ex-Gosden horse that George Bowie did what George Bowie does: 3 runs in maidens, and then managed to get it somehow into handicaps of a mark of 50s, and has gone on progressing. They can keep doing it. This is chewing it a bit too far, I think.
Yeah, I agree on for a different reason, really. This is a mile and 2 furlongs, a mile and a quarter. She's flexible. She's won it all a mile and 2, but she's had 3 of her 5 recent wins have been a mile and 4.
And not here.
And I'm thinking, well, what is she then? Is she a mile and a quarter, a mile and a half?
Yeah.
Connections clearly thinks she's probably a mile and a halfer. Now, the flip side with Caesarina, she was disappointing a bit last time.
Soft ground, easy in the betting. Haven't seen her since. Would suggest that probably something not quite right that day.
And something is okay. And she is a course winner, albeit over the mile.
She overcame some adversity to win that day, and I think I did the analysis.
And I think it's her first run over 10 furlongs on Saturday.
You had to mark her up. She'll love it.
And I think I would rather back Caesarina going up to 10 than the Queen of Ipanema going down to 10. So I'm with you. I'm a William Haggis for 3 or 4 different reasons collectively.
Well, we're on the right train here.
So far, so good.
You know who's about to ruin it, don't you?
Oh, yeah, I didn't fancy that. I thought that, it might be a step too far. And, I just thought Viola...
Step too far?
Yeah.
A Haggis horse. She's bred to be smart. She's probably going to be way better than this level. You're going with a bandwagon horse.
No, you're just guessing. You're just saying this is Haggis. See the stars. It'll be another one of those sea horses that always
She's
wins.
won at the track, man. She's bred to be smart. It's all there. She's won in a small field. She'll be better than this lot.
No, Viola.
They could have put this away, couldn't they? Until next year. Come back. Give it a nice winter.
Why haven't they done that? Why haven't they done that? Because
she's got polytrack form. She's on the trail to the Winter Oaks.
No, nonsense.
You're going for the Queen, are you?
I'm going for Viola. Yeah, I think Viola could run well. A big price for.
She hardly ever wins, G.
for James Fancher. She's got some really good form at Lingfield. In fact, all of her best all-weather runs, she's not run at Lingfield for quite a while, apart from last time when she was disappointing. I'll give you that. But however, she's got good form on turf, hasn't she? I mean, that race in which she was behind Strawberry, was it? You know, she was the only one who gave that horse a race that day. I rated that race. Obviously, I rate the stayers during the summer. I'm not doing it at the moment, but I remember thinking that was quite a good race. Now, she's not really shown that sort of form since. But I just think it's worth giving her a chance back at Lingfield. You've got loads of good form at the track, Dave. Got to be worth a chance at what? Is she going to be double figure price, is she? Something like that.
Hickory was a good winner for James Fancher in the week. The yard are going well, I give you that. But this will not be another notch on the Newmarket bedpost. This is going to Haggis. This is what we think, isn't it? This is definitely just different class of these lot, right?
She could be, couldn't she?
She is, Pat. She is. It's on air now. All right, the final race of the day then. And we finish off with a listed race. This is won by some really good horses down the lane. In fact, I might be tempted to say that this is a slightly lesser edition of what we've seen. But we do have a Winter Derby, and they're in the shape of Forest of Dean. Harrovian is in there as well. Algiers coming back. And a very interesting filly down the bottom as well for Eustace.
Yes, Algiers is the market leader, and he's on official ratings. He's, £3 in hand of Harrovian. He beat Harrovian handily enough when they were second and third last time out to miss the cut. Mr. Cut is clearly a very, very good horse. Algiers, he's got top-class form wherever he goes, really. Whatever country he seems to run in, he runs to a very high level of form. Forest the Dean, again, course and distance winner. You know what you're going to get there. I'm interested in the jockey bookings. Did Rab Havlin have a choice? Did William Buick have the choice?
You'd be thinking he'd had to have ride Forest of Dean, wouldn't you, for the governor?
Yeah. So, but that being said, I don't see Harrovian.
Buick on Algiers now?
William Buick's on Harrovian.
Okay, that's interesting. Isn't it?
But I thought Algiers beat Harrovian handily enough last time out. Forest of Dean is okay.
Who's on Algiers?
I'm not sure.
G-Rod, have you got it there? Who's on Algiers, please?
Jack Mitchell.
Jack Mitchell, yeah, well,
right.
he's fine. But Algiers' overall CV, particularly the last run, is very good. And if there is one outside of them, I think Making Me Do It of Harry Eustace is a potential, very much on the course and distance factor.
Yeah, she came from the back last time in a race where you had to be handy, and she went up that far rail as well, so you mark her up for those two aspects. And she was really unlucky in a decent fillies listed race on turf at Yarmouth the time before. That's unlucky. She should have gone a lot closer. I thought Algiers would win this. I thought the horse, Missed the Cut, who just got up in the dying stages, is a very good horse, I think. And Algiers got first run on him, and he also hung a little bit to that far rail. The slight worry is that Jack Mitchell from stall 1, is it? Will, or certainly from a low stall, will continue to keep that berth. Don't do it, Jack, if you're watching. Come off that bend and go down the middle, and I think you'll last out this time. There's no Missed the Cut in this. The filly is the danger for my money.
Yeah, and of course there's only the 6 runners, so Hayley Turner should get more room to operate. She's £12 to find on official ratings with Algiers, but for various reasons you can say, well, she's probably only £8 to find realistically. And that's not a lot, is it?
No. Would you be going that way?
I fancy Algiers, and if I was having a straight forecast, I would put Making Me Do It to be runner-up, yeah.
Honestly, those notes, I'm sure you've stolen them. Unlike G-Rod, of course, who didn't have the benefit of coming in and looking over Dave Orton's shoulder this week.
No, I thought the favoured win here again, Dave. Algiers. I didn't think it was a great ride last time out. Now, your analysis friends have written that it was a very good ride on the second on Algiers. Now, I thought that maybe Robert Havlin went a little bit too soon. He really kicked really a long way ahead, didn't he? And then he ended up on the inside rail, which is never the place to be there. And the time figure was quite good, so I suspect it was a fairly solidly run event, probably because Algiers kicked on so far. And over a mile and a quarter at Lingfield, I just don't think you want to be in front too early there. The times you see over a mile and a quarter at Lingfield, horses just coming outside wide and then they absolutely fly home, which essentially is what happened to Mr. Cut. Now, I know, fair enough, the front two came well clear of the rest, and if Algiers had held on, then everyone would have gone, yeah, great stuff from Robert Havlin, and, you know, a win's a win. But I just think if you just hold on to Algiers a little bit longer there, he probably holds out and wins the race anyway. And that's just the best form on offer, isn't it? I mean, there was good horses in that race. Harrovian was third. Bolshoi Ballet, I think, was down the field. Forest of Dean, who runs in this. I would just like to see him just held on to a little bit longer. and come a little bit later, and I think he'll definitely win as long as he's ridden in that manner, which he might not be, of course. They might decide to go and kick him on again, but we'll see.
Well, not after watching this, they won't. Jack, you've got the steer. And it's only taken him 4 races to get back to expert level. Because annoyingly, he talks absolute sense there, doesn't he?
Yes.
So, listen, Algiers, he's a friend to us. I think we put him up when he won at York on this show. I'm going to put him up again. What about you? Get your comments in below. That's Saturday. Done. Right then, fingers crossed, it's all on for you last time when Newcastle abandoned right before the off on Saturday. God, you could hear the groans everywhere, couldn't you? But we think we're going to be all right at Lingfield. It's starting to thaw out, guys. There will be jump racing back. Certainly from Monday onwards, no problems there. But we need some Saturday naps, if you don't mind, Patrick. And you're first.
Chelmsford for me, the 205, the rescheduled 205. And it's Eagle-Eyed Freddy. He doesn't win that often, so he's not that eagle-eyed really when he comes to looking at the winning post. But lots to like about this. He ran very well over a little bit further. It was 9 furlongs last time. He made all. He just got chinned on the line. He's in stall number 1 this time, over a furlong less. Same handicap mark. He's handicapped to win. I can see him making all. Trained by Michael Appleby. That's always a positive. Erica Parkinson claiming 5. That's also a positive. Jump out. Kiss. Keep it simple. Make all. Eagle-Eyed Freddy at Chelmsford.
Eagle-Eyed Freddy. Thought we were talking about Ben Pauling there for a minute. I'll go next because it's time order. And in the 3 o'clock, I think Cesarina will be too good in the fillies handicap. Forget what these two have said. She's different class. Go on then, G. Bookend the card. Give us a treble.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the horse we just spoke about. 3:33 at Lingfield. Algiers. I think that he'll win.
All right then. There's your treble. Whatever you want to do, Trixie. There are most important weekend hopes. Well, thank you for joining us this week. That's all we've got time for here on this weekend's What a Shout. All-weather bonanza it is. Hopefully we've educated you a little bit if you're not sure to it, or you regulars out there nodding at the screen, I'm sure. Let's hope that Treble of the Naps comes up for you. Don't forget, of course, the new Racing Post app just got even better. You can download it free on the App Store or the Google Play Store itself. They're all there. Everything you absolutely need. We're going to build on that into 2023. Exciting times ahead. Stay ahead of the field very much. So don't forget to gamble responsibly, of course. That's what it's all about. Not just here, but at the Bet365 HQ as well, which I assume is where you're headed back to now.
Yes, indeed. Back to the HQ, then Oxford Greyhound Stadium Friday night. And I'm actually off on Saturday, so I'm trying to come up with constructive ways to get out of doing the Christmas shopping. That's not really my bag, but...
Well, does your family know that you're booked in to come down on the 23rd, the Friday? Because we'll have the Boxing Day dates. You're coming to do it, and yes. Harrods is right around the corner.
Yes, I could walk past Harrods, I'm sure, en route to where I'm probably going to end up.
Head down and hoping you'll end up in Great Dunmow with Graeme Rodway.
Yeah, Pat will have to hope that he has a few more winners if he wants to start shopping in Harrods, wouldn't he? But no, it's going to be... one thing I'm happy about this weekend, Dave, is that, yes, all the racing is off, which is obviously not a great thing, but I am happy that we know the racing is off. We can just concentrate fully on the weather. We can pick out our horses. We don't have to worry about inspection. 7 a.m, will it go ahead? Will it, won't it go ahead? We know what we've got. We've got 2 good weather meetings. Let's attack it and enjoy it.
See, he's worth his value, really, isn't he? So for myself, Dave Orton, all the very best from this weekend. There might not a lot of beer racing on, but there's sport everywhere. There's a World Cup final. Vive la France, some of you might be saying, or come on, Messi. Whichever way, enjoy it.